Hello my friends, in today's video we will take a look at Zhiyun Crane 3S. This is a heavy-duty gimbal intended for a wide variety of cameras with a maximal payload of 6.5 kilograms. In this video we will mainly take a look at how it works with mirrorless camera setups way below the maximal payload. Besides that, I will be comparing it a bit with Moza Air 2 and Zhiyun's smaller lap-style gimbal Weebill S. Crane 3S is kind of positioned between the lightish gimbals such as Crane 2S or Moza Air 2 and large production gimbals such as Ronin 2 or Movi Pro. Considering that it only costs about 10% of Ronin 2 price, it seems to be an incredible value. Crane 3S is not a particularly light gimbal in absolute terms. As you see it here, including the stand and smart handle, it weighs about 3 kilograms. In relative terms, that is not too much for a gimbal that can hold 6.5 kilograms. Having said that, it probably requires a certain level of physical strength and stamina if you want to use it for longer periods of time. 3S comes in a hard foam box which protects the gimbal very well. Besides the gimbal, you will also get a quick release plate, raising plate, 2 lens support tubes, 3 batteries, battery charger, table tripod, extension arm and rubber cover, sling handle adapter base, and various cables for connecting a camera or follow focus. This is the standard package which contains a smart handle. In the Crane 3SE package, you will only get a simple easy sling handle. I definitely recommend getting this package with a smart handle. The build quality is very good. It is made of metal and high quality plastics. The buttons have nice feedback and I like the rubberized surface. Overall, I can definitely say that it feels like a premium product. The balancing process is pretty easy. There is plenty of space for adjustments and all of the axes are quite easy to move. You can also adjust the length of the arm below the camera, which is very useful for cameras such as Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. Even with very light Panasonic S5 with 20 to 60mm kit lens, it was very easy to balance, so no complaints there. Crane 3S also comes with an extension piece, which may be required for very large cameras or long cine lenses. The tilt axis also has unlimited movement, which is quite unusual with these very strong motors. Pan axis is also unlimited of course, the roll axis is limited. Crane 3S also has auto-tune feature, which can set the best motor setting parameters based on the weight of the setup, and it works well. The attaching plate is PL501 style, which is a standard. I prefer using Arca plates, so I have added a small rig Arca mounting clamp, which will be linked in the description. So how about the smoothness and the stability? I have tested this gimbal with Sony A7III and Sigma 24-70mm f2.8 DGDN because that is the heaviest combination that I have. This combination weighs about 1.5 kilograms and it is a total piece of cake for this gimbal. Crane 3S is the most stable and the best performing gimbal that I have ever tested. There are 2 reasons for that. The first one is just the weight. Heavier setup is generally more stable. You especially need some weight for walking, which is sensitive on the Z-axis, which is not stabilized. With 3S, it is very easy to get that flying camera effect, even on rough surfaces. The second reason is the strength and the responsiveness of the motors. There is no lag at all, and you can feel that the motors are holding the camera very tight. Zhiyun also has very complete motor parameter settings. I've had no issue finding the right settings and a follow speed that matches my preferences. I also haven't noticed any strange behavior or axis resetting or anything similar. As I've said and as expected, it is the best performing gimbal that I've ever used. Regarding the handling, as I mentioned, I have the regular package which includes Smart Sling handle. I definitely don't recommend the base kit without this handle. It gives you additional buttons and importantly the screen, which is a must-have. Unless you pump a lot of iron, you will need 2 hands to operate this gimbal. It is a lap style gimbal, which means that it is very easy to use in underslung mode. Especially with the smart handle, you also have a lot of buttons. Especially dedicated buttons for follow modes are very useful in my opinion. There are more buttons on the body of the gimbal. The joystick is actually very good on 3S and it allows you to make very precise adjustments. There is also a trigger button on the backside. You can customize what it does in the app or in the menu. All of the important settings can be changed using the screen on the smart handle. You have 6 follow modes on this gimbal. There is the pan follow mode where the gimbal follows your movement in the horizontal axis. Follow or tilt follow mode follows your horizontal movements and tilting of the gimbal. In locking mode, it just keeps the camera pointed in one direction. In POV mode, it follows all axes, so panning, tilting and rolling. Go mode can be activated by pressing the Go button, and it is basically a sports mode where the gimbal follows your movements faster. Vortex mode for vertigo effect is also available by double pressing the POV button. It is also possible to connect the camera to the gimbal using included cables. As you may know from my other gimbal reviews, if you use Sony, remote control will disable in-body image stabilization if you use PC remote USB setting. If you use mass storage setting, you can have in-body image stabilization and functioning video recording button on the gimbal. Exposure settings still won't work, so just use a variable ND filter. It also has 2 USB-C inputs for focus and zoom motors on the front side. Unfortunately, I don't have those motors, so I'm not able to show you that. Regarding the ZY Play app, that is fortunately another area where Zhiyun fixed all of the issues. The app is reliable and I haven't had any issues overall. I have tested it with both iOS and Android and it worked fine on both, so you will get equal experience. The app has usual features such as the remote control, parameter settings, motion lapses, and so on. S3 uses 3 2600 mAh batteries. These are the same as with the Weebill S, but that one only uses 2 batteries. The battery life should be 12 hours. I wasn't able to test the battery life yet, but I have more than half of the percentage after the whole testing, so I can already say that it will easily last a full day of usage. It also has DC power input, which can provide theoretically unlimited running time. Regarding the comparison with the Weebill S and Moza Air 2, these are basically 3 stages of the gimbals that I recommend. Weebill S performs great and it is very compact. It is more than sufficient for majority of mirrorless cameras. It works great, for example, with Sony A7 III and Tamron 28-75mm f2.8. I have also tested it with relatively heavy Panasonic S1 and 16-35mm f4. This combination is also not an issue. The only combination that I was not able to balance is A7 III with Sigma 24-70mm f2.8. Moza Air 2 is an extremely capable gimbal with 4.2 kg payload. Until now, it was the best performing gimbal that I have ever tested. It is extremely stable and it just works great. It weighs 1.6 kg, so it is much lighter than the 3S. Air 2 was sufficient even with Panasonic S1H and 24-70mm f2.8 with overall weight of 2.1 kg. Having said that, I like to use overkill gimbals, and for that combination I would already get Crane 3S. Air 2 is sufficient basically for any mirrorless camera with any reasonable lens, and it will provide very stable footage. So what are my overall thoughts about the Crane 3S and to whom would I recommend it? As I have said, it is the most stable gimbal that I have ever tested. If you want the best performing gimbal, suitable for the most extreme situations, that will work with vast majority of setups, this is it. It is well made, easy to balance, and it offers all of the features that you would expect from the latest gimbal. Obviously, with that kind of performance, it can't be particularly light. Considering its capabilities, the size to performance ratio is still very good, so I can't really say that the weight is a disadvantage. The shape and the way that you hold this gimbal may not fit everybody's style, so that is a matter of preference. Finally, it costs just a fraction of high-end gimbals with similar capabilities, so it is quite a bargain. As I've explained, most of the mirrorless camera users don't necessarily need one, but if you use a heavy setup or you just want the best performing gimbal, Crane 3S is the one to get. So that's it for this video, thank you for watching, I hope that you liked this video and that you have found it to be useful. Stay tuned for more videos and maybe consider subscribing if you don't want to miss my future content. I appreciate your feedback in form of thumbs up or thumbs down. If you would like to ask anything or share your opinion, please do so in the comment section, and see you next time.